The if function in Excel is a logical function. It's used to compare two items to determine if the comparison is true or false. For example, if a salesperson sold $10,000, he would receive a bonus. If not, there would be no bonus. So in this case, it's a simple if function that we're looking at because there are only two outcomes. There's one comparison, which is whether or not sales is greater than or equal to $10,000. And then there's only two outcomes. Either the person gets a bonus or the person does not get a bonus. In the example we have here, we are determining whether or not the student passed or failed the class. We'll take the average and compare it to 70. If the student made 70 or above, greater than or equal to 70, we'll display the word pass. Otherwise, we know it's automatically less than 70, so we'll display the word fail. In this case, we have only one comparison. Is the grade greater than or equal to 70? We know if it's not, it's automatically less than 70, so we don't have to compare that twice. If the grade is greater than or equal to 70, then we have two outcomes for pass, if that's true, and fail, if that's false. So one comparison to compare it to 70, and then two outcomes. Either the student passes or fails. In this case, I've drawn a diagram, which might be helpful. Sometimes it's nice to do this if you have a more complicated if statement. In the diagram, I have the three parts of the if function that you would use in Excel. There's the logical test, which is the comparison, the value if it's true, and the value if it's false. In this case, the logical test, which is the comparison, is going to be whether or not the average is greater than or equal to 70. The average is in cell E7, and the words or the number 70 is in cell H9. I just include the cell references because when I get to the dialog box later, or if I type it in, it will be easier to have those formulas available or cell references. What we're looking at here is the logical test, part of the if function. It will need to use some kind of operator to make the comparison. It could be equal, the equal sign, the greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, or you might have the two arrows if it's not equal to something. That is the logical test section of the if statement. The next section is whether or not it's true, and then the last part is whether or not it's false. If the average is greater than or equal to 70, if that's true, it will display the word pass, which is in cell J9. If it's false, it will display the word fail, which is in J10. So if it's not greater than or equal to 70, it will go directly to the false statement and display fail. If it's greater than or equal to 70, it ignores the false statement and goes to the true statement. Notice that for the true and false statement, this can be either text or a formula. In the case of the salespeople, instead of displaying the word bonus, you could calculate the bonus and enter in the formula in the true box. The diagram will help us in getting that information into Excel when we get to that point. I have used the cell references so that if I wanted to go in and change the number 70 or the words pass or fail, I can do it here rather than in the if formula. So I don't want to hard code those values in, so I can change those here and it will automatically reflect in the formula. Let's go in and look at the if function. And let me go into the cell where I want to insert the if function. Here we have the three parts of the if function: the logical test, which is this, the comparison, the value if it's true, which will be the word pass. The value, if it's false, is the word fail. Now that we have the cell references, we'll say it's E7 is greater than or equal to H9. For the true, we'll insert the word pass from J9, and if it's false, the word fail from J10. I need a couple of absolute references here. I want those to stay the same when I copy the formula down so that it keeps the cell references and compares each person's average to the 70 and displays either pass or fail. I want the E7 to change as I copy the formula down to each row so that it will change for each student. It displays the result of pass for this first person, and that is true because the average is greater than 86. I can copy this down. You can see that it's made the comparison for each student. I like to double check each side, the true, false. This one is false, so it should display fail because it's less than 70, the same here, and the rest look correct. Let's just say I wanted to change the pass grade to 80. If I do that here, it automatically reflects in the formula here. And if I wanted to go back, let's just say 60. It will automatically reflect. I do not have any students that are failing if I use a 60. I can also change the text here just to say not passed. And it will reflect here in column F for the result. That's the reason I don't hard code these 70 or the passed or failed in the formula here. I use the cell references instead so that it's more flexible. That's an explanation of the if function. It will do the work for you and it will make it much more efficient when you need to make comparisons like that.